So if you've been a subscriber to the channel for quite some time now and have been watching my past videos on upstream nymphing and ear nymphing, I've mentioned how to splice your fly line together. And finally, I have gotten the right formula and the right technique down to how to splice fly line together. Alright, let's get into it. What's going on, everybody? If you don't know me, my name is Carson and I've been fly fishing for the past 10 plus years, including competitive fly fishing. And in this video, we're going to dive right into how to splice fly line together. And this helps either if you're rigging up for upstream nymphing. If you don't know what that is, you can click on my past videos on that. But you can also use this for many other methods, to either having an indicator for when you're fly fishing or just fly fishing in general. All right, besides that, let's get right into it. Alright, so let's get down to ingredients of what you need to splice fly line. So obviously you're going to need some fly line. For example purposes, I got this really old fly line here and it's orange, it's bright, and I actually use this for my upstream nymphing setup. If you watch my past videos, this is actually the exact fly line that I use for that, and we're going to use this as an example. And then the other things that you're going to need is some thread. It doesn't matter what type of thread, and a bobbin. And you do need a certain type of line. And for example purposes, I'm going to be using some cider material. But in general, I like to use any type of line, either between 6 to 8 pound. And then going from there, you're just going to need some scissors. You're just going to need these are Dr. Slick scissors. I use these for when I'm fly tying. So a small pair and sharp piece of scissors. And you need some super glue. Alright, that's all you're going to need. Alright, let's get right into it. Alrighty, so I've already tried multiple ways of trying to film this. I mean, just filming is kind of tedious. So you're going to have to bear with me. So what we're going to do is that we have two pieces of fly line that we want to connect together. And basically, we're going to connect them by first slicing the fly line, one tip of the fly line with the scissors. So basically there's an inside spot that you could fit your scissor in, and you can actually slice the top slit of it. And basically it's like just imagine a tube, and you sliced it like this, right? And it's just basically slit open. So when we get that to that point, then what we're going to do is that we're going to actually grab our line, and this is just indicator cider material, and we're going to probably take a 2-inch section of this, and that does just make sure it's long enough there. It doesn't have to be long, too long, but for example purposes, now what we're going to do is that we are going to take the fly line, and we're going to take that sliced part, so that slit part, and we're going to actually fit that mono inside that fly line. So what we're going to do is that we're going to get our fly line. I'm trying to remember which end did I slice. And we are going to get our cider, and what we're going to do is that we're going to grab one end, and I'm going to try to show this on the camera as much as possible. And we're just going to fit that sliced line, or the cider material, in the sliced part of the fly line. Okay, and I'm trying to get this in there. There we go. So it's going to look kind of like that. Okay, and I can see how that's just sitting. So basically there's just slit. It's like a tube slit in the tube. You fit it right in there. And once we have that done, you can do one or two things. You can actually super glue it, or you could super glue it and then wrap thread around it, the fly line, which I'll show you later on. But right now I'm just going to keep it at that. And only thing I'm going to do now is do one drop of super glue on that. There we go. And then we're going to let that dry. So after doing that, we're going to grab our other opposite end of our fly line. And what we're going to do is that we're going to do the same thing. We're going to slice the other end of this. And this took a while for me. It was kind of like a DIY project, but actually it worked really well. And I haven't seen anything online about it yet, and a lot of people enjoyed or wanted to learn more about it. So again, I sliced it. Just imagine a tube, just slicing the tube. And sometimes you'll have braid in the middle of it. You just pull that out. But for me, that just works. And then we're going to come over here. We're going to get our, and then, so once we slice this end, this one has nothing in it, okay? Nothing, just the sliced tip of it. And then we're going to come back over here, and with our super glue and our solder material, that we are going to actually connect to here together. So we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Okay, we're going to get our solder material, and we're going to put that solder material in that slit with the fly line. And it should fit snug, and I would say don't go over 8 pounds because you will not be able to fix it in there, or fit it in the fly line. And that's kind of the problem there. You have to use thin line to be able to do that. Now, this is probably not for beginners because this is just, it is tedious and it does take some time. But once you get it and you do it a couple of times, then it gets pretty easy later on. So we have one fly line that has the super glue, and we just fit that solder material in with that other slit part of the fly line. And then what we're going to do is that we're going to just slide that fly line all the way to, you got to be careful too, the opposite end. There. And I'm hoping I get this. And I'll have a PDF of this later on. I mean, it's super difficult to film on camera, but we'll get this done. Hopefully I'm saying, or verbally saying it correctly. So basically we have two slit end of the fly lines with the solder in between them. One side has super glue, one does not yet. And we're actually are going to do that now. We're going to take our super glue, just a light coat, and just connect them together. Just like that. And they should be together. They really should. And this is not enough to keep them together. So right now what's holding it together is super glue and the solder material. Put them together. And you don't need solder material. You really don't. Just any type of fishing line that you could visibly see. Okay? So I would say this is not done yet. So that's when the thread comes in handy with the bobbin. This is going to help us put everything together. So we're going to pinch, or when this, make sure that the super glue is not wet anymore. So when the super glue is not wet anymore, then we could take our bobbin, and then now what we could do is that we could start just taking some really simple wraps on one side of the fly line. Okay? And this is the very intricate part here, that I say, probably the hardest part, because you gotta hold it. But you can have a vise, like a fishing vise, with it too. I mean, you can use that. I'm just gonna cut this tag end here. And only thing I'm doing is just making wraps with it. Now, what I did previously when I was experimenting with this whole thing, I was just using the super glue and holding it together with the fly line, which worked pretty well. But after a while, probably after I would say 10 trips, it fell apart. So then I used the thread, and then I started using that for a long time, and it just never fell apart after I tried doing that and putting it together. So right now we are wrapping on one side of the fly line, just like so, just like that. And we are just slowly moving our way to the opposite end of the fly line. We're just wrapping the fly line together, if you put it in simple terms. So right now, I'm starting to wrap to the other side, and the super glue does help a lot to bind the thread together, and it kind of makes it like a mold almost in the middle of it too, so which is nice. And then after that, and then after this, only thing that we're going to do is that we're just going to keep on wrapping, and I'll fast forward this, but the only important part I want to say is that at the end, just tie it off with the overhand knot, snip it, and then what we're going to do is that we are going to then super glue it one more time all together, and then it should officially be together. And honestly, I've never had any issues of it falling apart, separating on a big fish. Now, if you're going after steelhead or something like that, I would say do 2 wraps of this thread. So maybe 1 layer, super glue it, wait for an hour, 30 minutes, whatever, and then do it again. Especially if you're going after some steelhead, salmon, whatever. And for trout though, I have just 1 layer of thread. So this just takes time, but it doesn't take too long. But I would say stick to 1 layer, you'll be fine with that. And all in all, that's what it's going to look like. I'll zoom in later on what the finishing touch looks like, and we should be in good business. All right, I'll see you when I'm done wrapping this up. All right, so I just finished wrapping, and it kind of looks something like this. All right, and only thing that we're going to do now is to make a simple overhand knot with our thread. You can make 2 if you would like. Okay, and we just did that. So only thing that's hanging out right now is cider material and thread. So that's a simple job of the scissors. All right, so that's it. You got the fly line connected. Right now it's connected just with a little bit of super glue, cider material, and thread. So actually what we're going to do next is that we're going to super glue this all together. So we're going to keep everything tight. When I get the super glue, just 1 drop is plenty. And I'm just going to just lather the whole 360 of this fly line here. Just like that. And what we're going to do now, while that's drying, snip off all these threads here. And it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. It really shouldn't. It shouldn't look all that pretty. Honestly, I don't like to make it look too pretty. If there's some frizzle on it, it helps with, if you're using it as an indicator, it does help with that too. But other than that, that's how I splice 2 pieces of fly line together. Alright, so let's zoom it in and let me show you how it looks. Alright everybody, there we go. There's our spliced fly line. All ready to go, ready to fish. Alright everybody, there you go. There's spliced fly line. And it's pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. It's not gonna I've never had an issue of it breaking off on any fish, rocks, twigs, trees. And this technique has definitely been a game changer for me, especially with my upstream nymphing techniques. And it's very effective, especially when you're going out there on very sensitive water or overblown water. It doesn't really matter. And yeah, there you go. There's a spliced fly line. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any comments, please leave it down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video and watched the video, please consider liking the video. And if you want to see more videos like this and support my channel, please subscribe. Till then, I'll see everybody next time. And as always, stay fishy.